guys, it's Kelly from Cards by Christina here with you on a Technique Thursday. I'm live, so gonna bring up my comments and see who jumps on to join me. But today we are going to make clear cards, and I am so excited. I wanted to do this technique probably 6 to 8 months ago, and it just never happened. So we're doing it now, which I am so excited about. I love the card, I love the technique and the design. I will be honest with you, I cased it. For those of you that don't know, case means copy and share everything, or there's a couple different ways you can use that acronym to mean the same thing. But it's a beautiful card, and I cannot wait to show it off. So without further ado, sorry, my workstation's a little like skewed, so I have for you this clear card. So it is absolutely stunning, but half of the beauty of it is that it's on a window sheet. So it opens up and you've got kind of just this very unique card. So I've got a bunch of tips for you on how to be the most successful with doing something like this. So without further ado, we're gonna pull that off to the side, and I'm actually going to, one thing about a clear card is it's on a window sheet, so you want to make sure that it's nice and burnished. So I kind of needed to give that a little extra love there. So I am going to start by bringing in, woo, I just threw my light off. Here you go. There's a lot of cords and stuff. Sometime maybe we'll have to do a behind the scenes of what it actually looks like, because this is what you see, but there's so much more. Hi, Marcia. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so I've got a window sheet. Now, I strategically designed the card to fit on a piece of existing window sheet. So normally I would do 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, but the width of the existing sheet that I had was 8, so it's going to be 8 by 5.5, scored at 4. So very similarly sized as a normal card, but just a hair smaller for that reason. So we've got 8 inches this way, and we're going to cut it at 5.5. Thank you so much for sharing, and hello, Mary. Okay, so we're cutting it, and then we're gonna score it at that 4-inch mark, like I had mentioned before. And when you score, so typically when you score a piece of paper, you give it light pressure because you don't want to push too hard and cut through the paper. You're going to put extremely firm pressure and run it a couple times when you're scoring it. Hello, Diane. And you will notice that you'll get a, oh, it's so hard because it's clear, a visible score mark that kind of creases it just a hair. Let's see here if I can, yeah, you won't see that. Hi, Kathy. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm so excited to have you here. Now, again, this is clear, so this is going to be really hard for you guys to see, but as soon as we start decorating it, it'll come together more. That helped a little bit. So you can even see here the little score line, and I gave it, hello, Susan, a nice, thick, heavy burnish with our, not burnish, heavy pressure with the scoring blade. Then I tried to crease it on that score line. It's not as easy as a piece of paper, but the harder you push, the easier it is. And then once you have it at least folded, then you bring in, and I'm going to do this on the hard surface because we'll get the best burnish. Then you bring in your bone folder and give it a real heavy push with the bone folder to give it that nice crisp crease. Okay, so now you'll see it at least stays closed. So that's the gist of making the physical card itself. And I am going to bring this back because it is easier to see. Now, in terms of the rest, the really unique thing about this card is the fact that because it's clear, you can see it inside and out. So like you're seeing the inside of the card through the clear front. So one thing I think is very unique about this is if you want, you can get by without actually like signing or writing a message. You absolutely could put a white piece on the back here and sign the back. That would not at all be a bad idea. But look at how you see the inside through on the outside, and then when you open it, you've got this really cool opportunity to see the back of the front, and that's where I'm gonna give you some tips on how to make sure that that looks the best that it can. So first, what I'm going to do is explain to you what I have in front of me. So we've got stitched rectangles, and I layered 2 sizes together, like nested them as I cut them, so that it's got this stitched frame. I did 2 of them because one's gonna go on the front and one's gonna go on the inside, so that you don't have the back side that you're seeing. I did the same with this piece of in color glimmer paper. So basically, on a piece of paper, if you're using paper, you know, both sides have the color to it, whereas if you're using the glimmer paper, one side's an quote unquote ugly side. So I cut forward and backwards, and if that doesn't make sense to you, I'm going to give you a little visual. So here's the glimmer paper, and if you put your die cut here like you would, you're going to get this cut. You know, the back side is going to have the rough edges and is going to be white. Then, if you want to do the teacup for the inside, you're going to pretend like this is your pretty side and put your teacup as though you were cutting out a white teacup. And then when you get it out and punch all your pieces out, your teacup is going to be the back side, whereas now you have a front and back with the glimmer paper. So that's a little tip on how to make that magic happen. And then to finish it off, we've got a piece of DSP that is 3 by 4 1/4, somewhere between 4 1/4 and 4 3/4. So basically the size of this, but I made it just a hair smaller so that you don't have any peeking out accidentally. And then this piece is 2 by 3 1/4, and that's going to be on here. So to start making the magic happen, we want to use some of our best adhesive because a window sheet is very glossy and it's not really going to absorb your adhesive like a traditional paper would. So I started by doing some seal, and now I'm thinking, I wonder if seal, this seemed to work very good. I would definitely use seal, or if not seal, on the hard surface again. If not seal, tear and tape would be an absolutely great option. So again, you're adhering it to a clear surface, so you want to be careful and make sure that you are trying to keep your tape line straight. Like, it is clear adhesive, so it's not going to be the biggest deal, but all of those little details in the end kind of matter. And then another thing that I kept in mind when adhering this down is you do see the back, unless, of course, you go ahead and create the same size in a white and use the back, stamp it up, and use it for your signing spot. But I love that you see these teacups, so I literally almost taped it upside down, though, because, you know, on the inside or on the side that you're focusing on, it doesn't matter if it's up, down, sideways, or inside out, really. So just make sure that if you're not planning on covering it with white to sign, that you're being intentional about where and how you're sticking this down. So I'm gonna start with that. Then the next thing I did was decorated the outside. However, I could go ahead and glue this in too. I'm not a tape runner gal. I used to be, but I switched over to liquid glue and almost exclusively use liquid glue. So I didn't even know where to find Chris's tape runner, to be honest with you, this morning. So, Judy, I'm so glad to hear that you enjoy this card idea. It's something different, that's for sure. Okay, so go ahead. I went and stamped, I'm so excited. This is the first new catalog stuff that I'm using. The Cup of Tea stamp set with the in colors. So Tahitian Tide, the Sweet Sorbet is the red color, and then the Parakeet Party for the leaves. So gorgeous. I love it. And then I'm going to take, now, I don't know if this is the right width. Might be just the right size for tear and tape. We will have to see. I did not use tear and tape on the first card, and that is why I always try to make the card beforehand and then learn so that when I'm walking you through it, I have the best knowledge of what to share with you, not to do, because I learned from my mistakes the first time. Good ideas. So I'm going to go ahead and run tear and tape along the edge, and then what I'm doing is just trimming. It's just a little smaller than the roll of tear and tape, so I'm going to trim that excess off. It's going to be a little tedious, but I already noticed that my liquid glue card, which is my sample card that's kind of down on the table in front of me, either the liquid glue is not completely dry, which that could be too, or it's not going to stick as well, which makes perfect sense if you think about it, because, like I said, it's a non-porous surface. It's a very glossy surface that it's being adhered to, so liquid glue is going to have a harder time doing a great job. Hello, Patsy and Laura. Glad that you had the opportunity to join us this morning. Here in Wisconsin, we have had some super crazy weather. I think that is like the story of our lives in Wisconsin. We had extremely windy days recently, about 3 days ago. And I'm not kidding you, I just figured this out like an hour before I hopped on here. We had a missing package. You know, Target said they delivered our package. UPS or FedEx, whatever one it was, said they put it outside the service door by the garage. Well, we didn't have the package. And an hour ago, our neighbor stopped by and was like, hey, we got this package. And it looked like it went through a tornado. Well, that's just going to tell you how windy it was. It blew, we live out in the country, so it blew like more than that, at least half a mile down to the neighbor's house. And we found it, so it didn't go missing. You know, it's one of those things where we live, porch pirates aren't really a thing at all. So it was delivered to my parents' house. Mom was like, oh man, I wonder if someone like stole it. Like, that's just not something we really deal with. So I'm glad to hear that that was not the case. I really didn't think that that possibly could be the case, but you just never know. So it was so crazy that it literally blew away. We live in an extremely windy area of the state, and never thought that that even could have been the case. But we have a farm of like 80 wind turbines in our area of the state. And they're there for a very strategic reason. That's all I can say on that. So, yeah, we had a package literally blow away. So, but anyways, and then it has been super hot and very, very humid. So we had weather in the like 40s and 50s, sometimes peaking up into the 60s, and then all of a sudden it like the flip of a switch, we had 88 with humidity levels in the 60s, and holy man, it has not been super comfortable around here, but hopefully that kind of passes. I'm glad that we have hot weather. I haven't been enjoying how long it took for the nice weather to come, but could have used something a little more comfortable. Okay, so that's my little story about the weather while I was trying to get my tear and tape cut to size. Now, I need to be very careful about where I lay it down because it's going to, again, my love of tear and tape is because you got a little bit of wiggle, or actually, my love of liquid glue is because you get a little wiggle, and tear and tape on this window sheet does give you the opportunity to move and remove a little bit. So don't go real crazy on that, but at least you have a little bit of that chance. Okay, going to do the same now for the inside. And then the teacups are going to be a little harder because the teacups are going to need probably liquid glue. Now, they overlap the border a little bit, so it's going to be a little better that at least it's got some paper to adhere to, but not going to be the perfect scenario. It's still going to be an extremely beautiful card, and I promise you it won't fall apart. So, let's see if we can do this a little faster the second time. In the card that I cased, I wanted to find a way to include ribbon. I love ribbon on cards. I struggled, and I didn't, it's the adhesive part that is a little, you need to be a little more intentional with when you do a card like this, because you're definitely going to see through when your card base is clear. So I didn't actually come up with a place or a way to put ribbon on here. If you've got any great ideas, shoot them in the comments. I kind of thought about doing it in the crease. So I'm using all the in colors and, well, not all the in colors, but very close to all of the in colors. And I love the shimmer paper and I love the ribbon even more. So I brought them over here, but I just didn't figure out how to do it. And the card is so pretty. Look at how gorgeous they are. The card is so pretty already, so I don't feel as though like it's missing anything without having the ribbon, but I secretly just really wanted to use the metallic woven ribbon. So if you got any ideas, shoot them my way and we'll maybe try something different on this one. But otherwise, we're going to have a ribbon-free card. I honestly threw on the embellishments right before I went live because I forgot them too. But silly me. I have been crazy chaotically busy recently. I feel like that's the story I've been telling you guys for a long time now. We've been going through some family emergencies recently. Nothing too horrible. But I've been expending a lot of energy with that. So not finding near as much time to do some of these crafty things as I wish, but there are other things needing my attention these days. And actually, Sunday night, flying to St. Louis for a Children's Museum conference. I'm so very excited. Going to be there through Wednesday, and I just can't wait. I've been to Stampin' Up! Conference once, I think, with Chris and my mom in St. Louis, or not St. Louis, Salt Lake City. So that was so great, and I'm sure the Children's Museum Conference is going to be just as great. So I'm really excited for that opportunity. But I've got some very busy, crazy weeks on my May. 2 weddings in May, conference, and then, I don't know, I feel like there's a couple other things that are looming on my radar, but we're just doing our best, trying to keep our head above water. So I do want to apologize anyone that's reached out to me about personalized stamps in the last, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 weeks. I've got a little bit of a not right now capacity for that. Okay, so now, oh, you know what I should do beforehand? So, just gonna put that down for a minute. Go ahead and adhere your teacup so the outside of your card is done before we flip to the inside. Now this is where I'm gonna go with it. Oh, you know what I could do? Let's do some glue dots. Glue dots are right here. So let's throw down a couple glue dots in the places where we've got a little bit more space. Here. Then a couple glue dots will help to reinforce as well. Oops. I am using my glue scissor here. Take your pick tool would be a great pick as well. I honestly don't even have a take your pick tool. I have it kind of on my radar of things to get. All right, so I placed 3 glue dots. And then dropped it. Place 3 glue dots where there is the most meat to that teacup. And then in the rest of the places, I'm just gonna strategically throw down some glue so that there's some other adhesive, because I don't think those 3 tiny glue dots is gonna be enough. But at least it's something a little extra. So many things that I'm changing between these 2 cards. You're really not going to see any visible differences, but hopefully it's going to be quite a bit more secure in how it stays on the card. All right, so then throw down that teacup. Make sure you're giving a little extra push where those glue dots are. And then open your card. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it kind of forcefully so that I can hover and get my pieces in the exact right spot, and then we'll go ahead and burnish it closed again when we're done. So then here's the backwards teacup. Throw down those glue dots again. And then, so I'm using the glue scissor quite a bit today. Definitely, if you're trimming tear and tape like that, good idea to use some Goo Gone on your glue scissors to clean that up. Good morning, Fellaine. It's so nice to see you on this morning. We're working on a fun clear card for our Technique Thursday this week. You might need to catch the replay if you're just tuning in, but it's definitely a fun card to try out. Again, I say this every week, but if we inspire you to make something, that's awesome. That is literally what we do here. So please feel free to send us a picture of your creation. We do a Share It Sunday every Sunday, or comment it in the comments of this video would be cool too. But yeah, we're just really excited to see what we inspire you to create. All right, so again, same with the other teacup here. Let it find its place, and then make sure you're giving a nice little extra reinforcement behind where you know those glue dots are. The best lineup job that you can is great. Otherwise, you do see some of that shadowing, but do what you can. Okay, so here we've got that. I think we have a done card now. Hi, Mitzi. I'm so glad you like the card, Patsy. It is really cute. I love it. Like I stated before, you can absolutely put a white panel on the back if you want to sign, or one of the great things about two-sided DSP is that you'll see the back side of that with these beautiful teacups on it. Then go ahead, close your card, give it one more nice, good burnish. I love that you've done this before, Fellaine. It's so different, makes a completely unique card, and so much fun. Now, I have some embellishments. I'm using the Starry Sky here. I'm going to put one big one here. I stamped the sentiment much closer than I did on the other card, but that is okay. And then I put one, I wanted to use 3. So I actually nested one up here in the foliage. I don't know where it should go, but woo! Gave it a little push there. But I put one kind of somewhere in here. Oh my goodness, sticking to my fingernail, not the card. Okay, there you go. So there is our beautiful clear card that we made. I love it so incredibly much. Let me know what you think of this idea, if you've ever made it before. Ooh, Mitzi, I'm gonna have to ask the professionals here. I'll see if Chris knows the answer to that after I'm off this live. I don't know if you can heat emboss on a window sheet. I'm thinking that the answer probably is yes, but because of the heat, it might warp the window sheet. So I'll see if Chris knows that answer, and we'll let you know. Great question. So brilliant to ask something like that. So, wow, that's where my brain is today. So here is the finished clear card that we made. I love it so much. I hope you enjoy it too, and I hope you have a wonderful Technique Thursday. I had so much fun making this card with you today. It's, like I said, I've been so busy. I haven't spent much time creating, so it's been great to be able to do that this morning with you. And I hope you have a wonderful Technique Thursday. You can catch Chris later tonight for some live card making.